Okay, right, Rob. I was wondering, is there any techniques people could use at home themselves to
Um,
help with pain relief or something?
yeah. Okay. So, what I want people to realize is that where you have your pain, let's say it's the shoulder or the knee, is never really where the pain is coming from. That's where you feel it. Pain is from our perception of what's going on in a particular area. Say in the brain perceives a threat and sends out pain signals. The brain most often, in my experience of working with elite athletes, mixes up the side of the body. So just recently, I worked with a professional footballer who was having serious knee problems, and I actually, using my insight, which is feeling for the drop in the energy. For example, I scanned his body. I said, "Is it the knee?" And there wasn't a weakness there. So I looked elsewhere in the body, and his opposite knee and the other elbow were the weaker points in the body, and I strengthened them, and then his knee got better. So it was within an hour, it was pretty much back to normal, and it was career threatening. So um, for to give something to someone to use at home, it's I would just say it's just look for scan the body. If let's say your left knee is sore, then look at scan for the body, and you're really waiting for, like, you ask a question, say, is it my left knee? Let's say that's where the pain is. And if there's no drop in energy, so you get a strong feeling in your body, there's either strong or weak, just two options, strong or weak. If the left knee feels strong, but then you ask, is it the opposite knee, and there's a drop in your energy, or you can do a finger test, like that's strong, that's weak. It kind of slips if it's weak. If the other knee is weaker, then you strengthen the other knee to your knee that is feeling pain, and that should instantly change the sensation you're getting in the knee. So
Okay.
just so, and also for people to understand that pain is not just physical. I worked with someone yesterday here in my apartment who had just the chronic shoulder pain for forever. That, like, no doctor could help him. And then what I found was the one of the first things was an emotional pain. Is your dog come into the room, or?
My son.
Oh, okay. All I can see is your hand moving on the side.
Oh, okay, because I was going, keep quiet.
Oh, okay. I've got cats that are going to come into the room and they make noise. And the number one reason for the pain in his shoulder was anger towards a member of his family. Now, as you know, emotions can be much more painful than getting a punch on the arm. Is emotional pain or breakup pain, heartache.
Yeah.
And so that is painful. You can have financial pain when we don't have enough money. It's painful, and we don't want to think about it, so we push it down inside ourselves. So that's kind of just is what I find. It's not really giving you a way to delete financial pain. I'm just saying, if you want to know more, you just go. You can look at my site. I've got videos that explain how to find the strong or weak and things like that.
Very good, very good. But a lot of emotional will be stored in the body.
Yeah, it's well, when we have emotional pain, or our thinking is painful, or we have problems in our life, we use different methods to deal with it. So some people drink, some people take drugs, some people just forget about it. They just ignore it, and it has to go somewhere. That's
Right.
just forgetting. A lot of people suppress or shut themselves down. Now, when you suppress things, it has to go somewhere. It's energy, energy, emotion. So we suppress it, and that will hurt you at some point. You can only suppress for so long, and so it kind of gets stored in the body.
and comes out as pain.
Yeah, well, if you're numbing yourself, you'll numb yourself. You won't feel. Let's say you go through a breakup and you numb yourself to the pain. People just say, just get on with work. That's my cat running in the room. He's listened to me.
Okay.
Some people numb themselves, but you will numb it to the point where at some point you will start to get numbing feeling in your fingers or your feet. So you start to numb. You start getting numbness and paralysis. That's just at the after doing that for many years, and we all do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating how it comes out then at some stage.
Yeah, and it will come out in layers. So the guy I was working with yesterday, he had 10 different types of pain. So he said, when I do that, it's painful. Okay, let's have a look at that. That's to do with that. When he takes his arm behind his back, is that physical? Okay, that's physical. Or is it non-physical? It could be, someone twisting his arm, an experience in his lifetime. When he does that, it brings back the memory.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
So
it is.
Memory.
Sorry?
It's memory stored.
Yeah, you get memory stored. It's just we're by a computer, so but we can also store our ancestors' experiences. They encode it in our DNA, and that there's plenty of research that backs that up. So we could be put into an experience that one of our ancestors experienced that was extremely traumatic, and suddenly we've got, you're watching Game of Thrones, and afterwards you go, oh wow, my shoulder's sore, and it could be you saw someone getting their arm cut off, and it triggers an ancestral experience. That sounds crazy, but it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but the results when you clear it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm not there to say, it's because of Game of Thrones, or I just work on getting results. That's all I care about. So I'm currently doing research with a doctor. And we're doing before and after pain scales and everything, and it's going really well. I want to get the pain from, if it's a 9 or an 8 or a 7, I want it down to 0. That's all I'm there for. So that's all that people care about. They don't care where it's from, really, although it's quite interesting sometimes.
It's fascinating, but people want results. End of story.
Yeah, and people want to be they just want results, whatever that may be. If it's a career, confidence, or physical pain or injuries. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. That's fascinating. I've one more question.
Yeah.
With performance anxiety, people playing sports have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
With how they're going to play, will they play well or whatever. Is there anything they could do to combat that?
Yeah. So one way it could be coming from many different areas of their lives, or their ancestors' anxieties coming through. But if I'm working with, say, a striker, a soccer player, forward, if he's scoring goals or he's not scoring goals, he needs to be neutral, neutral to the possible outcomes. So you just saw with, say, maybe Liverpool, they weren't neutral to, winning the league. They were desperate to win it. And when you're desperate in a fight or a combat situation or in a sport, you become emotionalized, and that weakens you. So performance anxiety. Let's say you're on stage or someone's on stage performing in sport. Let's say the outcome is they want to score goals. Well, they need to be neutral, and so they score goals, they don't score goals, neutral, and then just go to the midline of the body. That instantly takes away any weakening effect from either side. They miss the goal, they don't miss the goal. They score loads of goals. I've had players that when I say scoring lots of goals, it weakens them, because then they have success and then the whole life changes.
Okay.
Or their partner doesn't want them to score.
Yeah. So it could be anything that is influencing.
Yeah. So and what you do is you want to look at the opposites. So for weight loss, I'm fat, I'm not fat. I'm skinny, I'm not skinny, neutral, and then just go to the midline of the body. So you just strengthen. So you're kind of, what you're doing is you're strengthening the opposites, but just saying them will change it. You always go to the midline. That's a Shaolin method of the midline is like the biocomputer of the body. It's the center line.
And do you do that with your hand or with your mind?
I personally, it's automatic for me. It just does it automatically, but that comes with a bit of experience. But you can just, some people like draw a line up from their kind of tail, coccyx, sacrum area, up the midline. Or I know some people imagine them hitting, one of those strongman hammer things, and he goes, ding. If you want to do it for lots of people, you can go bing, and it goes up their spines. I just, you just take your awareness to the midline of the body. There, my cat's fighting now. The midline of the body. So, let's take an example. Let's say for this interview, let's say if I was worried about it, you'd want to go to the extremes, right? So I mess up, I don't mess up. Neutral, and then I go to the midline. Or I'm great, I'm not great. I forget, I don't forget. All the thinking that if you're not neutral to it, it has a way of coming in and affecting you.
But if you're neutral, it's neither way.
It doesn't mean you don't care. There's no weakening effect. There's no drop in the energy on either, and it could be the totally opposite. It could be a positive thought. So it's like, I do really well, boom. So I strengthen myself, I do really well, because subconsciously you might, there might be some sabotaging coming in. You don't want to do well.
Yeah.
So it's just bang bang. Guys, I've worked with some guys, who want to meet more women, and they're petrified. And I remember this one guy, he was pretending to be in a club, and I said, how would you be in the club? And he was kind of up against the wall, and he was quite a bodybuilder. So I looked at him and I was like, okay, big, not big, small, boom. So his weakness was being small. So what does he do? He does bodybuilding to make himself big, but the energy he was giving off was, women could pick up on that.
Yeah, because it's all energy.
It's all energy, yeah, and it's all sort of these subtle nuances. So I just told him, what if I said you were small? He was like, ugh, So I just strengthened him. Okay, you're small, you're not small. You're big, you're not big, neutral. Okay, so then I said, okay, if I said you were small now, and he just went, and then he looked totally different.
It changed his whole aura.
Oh yeah. His posture, everything was different. He just looked normal, and that is quite, the other one wasn't helping him. So it really, the thinking, the opposites, you want to question. Like Byron Katie does. She says, question your thoughts. You just want to strengthen yourself so the opposites are strong, and then you sit really nicely in the middle way. And then it's like turning the boat around. Everything goes really much easier when you're not going upstream.
Oh, it's so simple, but such profound effects on people's lives.
Yeah, that is so simple. It's almost too simple, but it's an inbuilt. It's our way of clearing our cookies, and resetting the computer. It's an innate ability. So it's just that we've lost that. They don't teach you that at school.
No, they should, because it's so simple, but will change everything.
Yeah, but the people in power or government and in the schools and the teachers don't know that. They've got all sorts of problems themselves. So yeah.
Well, I have to say thank you so much. That was fascinating. And thanks for coming on Happiness on Tour, Rob.
It was a pleasure being on Happiness on Tour, and I'll talk to you soon.
I hope so. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.